Return or replay MK, Capcom Legacy or Lunacy, Star Wars re-release or redo, Bourbon or Gotta think about that fourth one. Everybody, what's going on? Welcome back to the channel. Another episode of the show called This Week, a show where we talk about what happened last week and we look forward to what's going to happen next week. What is going on, everybody? Hope you're enjoying your weekend. Hope you had the most fun that you could. We had a little bit of craziness up here in my area. We had some power outages for about 6 hours. I was out of power, but we ate like all the ice cream in the fridge, and it was a good time. You make the most of it. So that was some of my weekend. On the disappointing side, the Mortal Kombat 30th did not arrive this week. That shipping or that arrival date got changed, pushed on to next week. So just gonna have to wait a couple more days. Going to talk about tonight, though. Going to talk about that, a couple other things, and one thing we're going to start with is the poll up in the chat. So it's kind of a just bear with me, okay? I know sometimes these polls don't make a lot of sense until the end of the show, but here's where we're at. Here's the question. I want to pick your brain. I want to know where everybody's at. The question is, what is the most you would pay for a arcade one-up Star Wars re-release? And just be honest, if $500, if $499 is where you're at, then just say $499. If you'd be willing to go $599, we'll go ahead and say that. If you could imagine a scenario where you would pay $699, go ahead and select that. So you got those three selections, basically $500, $600, or $700. We're going to get into the specifics later on in the show, but just let me know what you think about that. Let your voices be heard. Already got the 25 votes. Jump in there and we'll talk about it. I'll give you more context. I know it's a little confusing. I'll give you more context. Speaking of context, I've got something I want to bring up actually at the beginning, the top of the video. I had a comment. I'll go ahead and bring up the comment real quick. Always the first one, usually the first one to comment is my good buddy, the 2 Mile Arcade. Hey, Battle, I love that screen. I love that the screen is recessed for the Dragon's Lair cab. I wish Arcade 1-Up could have done it to all the Pac-Man and T2 cabs. Your thoughts? Let's go ahead and address this real quick before we get into the rest of the chat, because yeah, there have been some videos out there, some postings on Facebook. This video actually comes to us from a user called Carrie Barovich. I believe I'm saying that correct. I linked that video in the description of this video. So after we're done with the live stream, you can click on that. You can go check out the full video. But I just wanted to play a little clip and let's talk about it. So there's a little bit of audio in the beginning, and then the video will go silent after that. We can kind of discuss. So here you go. Let's check this out. So yeah, so the speakers sound pretty good. The audio sounds really good. And that monitor, guess what, kids? That's BOE. It looks really good. It's not, I'm not getting the recessed. I think the comment was, I like that it was recessed. I don't really see the fact, I don't see it really being recessed in the cabinet. It's definitely laid back, that's for sure. And it looks pretty good. I mean, the cabinet, if you are a, Dragon's Lair cab, this is definitely good. Let's watch this again real quick. Let me hit the play button one more time, and then I'll get you to kind of jump in the chat and let me know what your thoughts are on this cabinet. Yeah, the thing just sounds good. It sounds like it's on the same level as a Golden TXL and maybe even the pinball machines. So it looks good. Damn, that screen. You know what? That may be the last time. That could be the last time we see a great looking 17-inch monitor. Ah, look at the furrowed brow. I'm concerned. I know you're concerned, but let's say hi to the rest of the chat. Yeah, it looks good. It doesn't look recessed to me, but it is definitely laid back. I think if that is your jam, then definitely check out that cabinet. I know iArcade kind of beat them to the punch quite a while back, so you had a way to play that. That's the reason why some people aren't getting that cabinet, but I think everybody has their own personal taste, and that seems to be a little more arcade accurate. So, but no, it looks good, just not really for me, so I'm not going to get that. But thanks for the comment. I really do appreciate it. Chris says, yes, the Dragon's Lair cab is fire. It is fire. Hey, the Nerd Jock Podcast. What is up? What's going on? I believe I saw you playing Turtles last night. Hell of a game, man. Hell of a game. Charlie Chuck Stanley Cup on TV. Fox Pod on the laptop. Hope you are well, Fox man. If you want to mute me so you can watch the Stanley Cup, I totally get that. Just hit me later on the replay, because I ain't going to stand between, a man, a Canadian, and his Stanley Cup. It's not going to happen. I've learned. I know enough Canadians, I've learned. Console Kick says, 19K Fox, I want your 3-player Rampage mod. Do you do commissions? We will talk after the show. Donuts, what's going on? I think we can fix it with a big hammer. Really, really big hammer. There's never a job that hasn't been invented that doesn't require a hammer. You just got to, select the appropriate size and go to town. And you may not fix it, but you will feel so much better. So much better. Mike Hawkhurts, what's going on? He says, hiya. How you doing? Good to see you. Vic Vicious 75. What's up, 19K? Cheers. Don't tease me with the Star Wars re-release. We're going to talk about it because I don't think it's a tease. More to discuss later. Bozo Calvin Jr., buddy, how are you? Hey, 19K Fox, thanks for stopping by my way earlier today. Absolutely, definitely check out Bozo's channel. He's got some really good videos up. He actually had a pretty interesting take on Tron, so check that out for sure. Great channel. BCB147 says, "Hey, Sunday night with the best arcade." Hey, I'm average. Okay, I'm not the best. I'm there. I'm in the running to becoming America's next top arcade one-up YouTuber. Thanks. I appreciate the comment. Tammy G, how are you? Hey, Fox. Good to see you. Hopefully your evening is going well. Chris A says, we need to talk about Arcade One Dragon Slayer. That cab looks good. Looks very good. Yeah, we can definitely talk about it for a minute if you want. I don't have a lot to say about it, though, because it's just not my jam, and I don't plan on getting it. To each his own. To each his own. Papa Brad's Gaming says, hearing Dragon's Lair has some audio issues. Glad you bring that up, Papa, because I've also seen those comments before saying that the sync is off on the audio and the picture. So I think I think it was your comment on another video, Papa. You said it was like a kung fu movie. Well, that's kind of funny for a little while. That could get a little annoying. So if that is the case, that's not good. So it looks good. It sounds good. If they could just get those two to sync up, kind of come together, that's key. That's key. It's something you definitely want to have for sure. Ronsky says, looks amazing. It does. It looks really good. It looks really good. What I didn't really highlight is that in his video, he shows you the marquee and how it's sort of one piece and it looks like, polycarbonate or plexi that they've actually formed at a 45, so it's all bent over. It looks good. It's different. They're doing something different. So I like I said, it looks good. It's just really not for me. Salute, Sir Sega. How are you? I love it. Mine arrives tomorrow. Hell yeah, get you some. I love it. I love it when people get the cabinet that they wanted. Everybody's got their jam. Everybody's got the thing that they want, and when you get a chance to get it, I'm happy for you. It's awesome. It's what this is all about. Mike Oxlong says, I'd be willing to pay $700 with a good, oh, look at you with your caveats. And smart man. He's like, yeah, I'm not just going to fork over all the money because now we have that question. We didn't have that before with Arcade One Up. Now the monitor all of a sudden is a question mark. It's weird. Really, really weird for sure. Chartio, I think I'll say, I'm sorry if I butchered your name. I'm sorry. I'm getting Dragon's Lair. Looks great. Awesome. A lot of people, other than the audio issue that I'm hearing, I haven't heard any complaints about it. I know that second screen was definitely an issue. It was going to be your cell phone or an iPod Touch or something. They scrapped that, which is why it was delayed. And that second screen, I think that was definitely worth the redesign, worth the investment. I think it's important to get it right. It's very important to get the cabinet right before you release it. It's as if that is going to be a segue into our first topic. Getting into the first topic, listen, we got to talk about it. So let me paint the picture for you. Here's the scenario. You've pre-ordered a cabinet. It's on its way. It was delayed slightly. But it's coming. For some reason, you live on the East Coast, but it's shipping from the West Coast. Even though they have warehouses and locations in other parts of the country, for some reason, maybe they just don't like you. Maybe this is becoming a little too personal. This is your scenario. This is not mine. Let's drink. And in anticipation of this product coming to your house, you see videos that are highlighting an issue, highlighting a little bit of a problem, and In some cases, it was actually the problem that that you thought it might have. It's the monitor. What do you do? Okay, so with some specificity, let me go ahead and just talk about what I'm. Let's just the elephant in the room is Mortal Kombat 30th and the monitor being suspect. Now, if you watched sort of the reveal video, when the real footage was leaked, when the real photos was leaked or made available on RK1UP's website, I commented that, is anyone else on the panel that I was on, are we concerned at all about this MK with the viewing angles and all that? It seems a little weird. And then at first, I think for the most part, the community was, nah, I'm sure it's just, glare, studio lights. It's fine. It's fine. Then we started to see other issues and telltale signs. And we saw, mirroring on the bottom, and aspect ratios once again became prominent. Justin over Console Kits was so excited to explain to us all again, aspect ratios and what they mean. And it became a big issue where we didn't think that was going to be an issue. It was. So then we had the live stream over on Kong's B is over at Kong's RS. Great live stream, a lot of fun. You can see me in this snapshot, in this screenshot. I'm looking forward, and I'm just concerned what I see, because check it out. Right there, you can see weird edge lighting. It's not looking good. And sure enough, as that live stream went on, as Kong's would illustrate, he would highlight in this live stream, and then in his great video review that is up now, you can check that out after this live stream. You have to stay here. You can't go somewhere else. You got to stay here. The screen, the monitor, it is an issue for sure. Not good. So you have this evidence here. Back to our make-believe scenario, of which I'm currently in. What do? I can't cancel it because it's on its way from RK1UP. So what do I do? Now, they don't have brick and mortar locations in my area. I can't just take it back to a store and return it. But what is a return policy? What is the situation that I pretend you find yourself in? Let's go to the RK1UP's return policy, and you see it's spelled out pretty plainly on their website. If you are not 100% satisfied with your purchase from RK1UP, you may return any unused, undamaged items. Unused is a little weird. It's a little odd, because if you got it out, you plugged it in, it's technically used. Maybe they mean consumed. I don't know what that means, but it's going to be used. Now, I understand the undamaged items. I get that. But unused, undamaged items that are in the same condition in which they were received. So what that means for us is that we build the thing, we plug it in. Oh, what is this? What is wrong with this monitor? I hate it. I sit with it for a day or 2 or 3 or 2 weeks, and I realize I'm just not happy with it. It says, so in the same condition in which they were received back to RK1UP within 30 days. So they have to, now that's 30 days of the receipt as indicated on the tracking information. So you're going to have to get your tracking information. You're going to have to get that back to them before 30 days, and you can get your full refund. That is very complicated, especially if you were so excited that you built this thing and threw it away, threw the box away. You were ready to go. Now, how am I going to get this back to them? So you can see the plight. You can see the issue right away. Is it's not going to be as easy as loading it up in the car, going back to Best Buy or Walmart, and getting my money back. It's not going to be that easy. What are you doing? Ralphie, what are you doing? I still have my Tron in the box. Now, I know some people do this, and I get it. That's fine. I mean, it's your thing. You want to buy it and keep it in box. I have a lot of figures around my office and in the arcade that are still in box. I get that. But, dude, get it out and play with it. It would be my suggestion to you. So anyway, so I can't just take this back. I can't just take it back to the store, get my money back, and it's no problem. It's no big deal. It's going to be a bit of an issue. It's kind of like dealing with Apple, right? If you send something back to them, you got to wait for them to, approve it, say that it is good to go before you can get that money back. So I can't just take it back. What other recourse do I have? I could just keep it. I guess. Maybe I could just resell it. That's one thing I can do. Okay, it's still in box. Maybe get it out before the rest of the reviews, alert the media, alert the average consumer, and maybe I can sell this thing and make my money back, But most likely, you're going to be faced with either, listen, maybe the curiosity is going to get the best of you. Maybe it's not that bad, right? Maybe it's not that bad. Maybe I can just open this thing up and put it together and play it. So if you're going to keep it, What are the reasons to keep it? What are the reasons for even trying to put this thing together? Well, okay. It's not all doom and gloom. There are some things to celebrate or be happy about when it comes to this cabinet. Let's talk about the positives, right? What we know so far. If we're going to take the information that we saw in that live stream and we saw in other reviews and be alarmed by it and be upset by it, we also can look at some of the positives and also be as equally comforted by those, right? So some of the positives are the marquee. I was shocked and surprised, and so was B over at Kongs R Us with the quality of that marquee. It just looks really, really good, and it's great that they get that, they get that right. Finally, right? It took them forever. On some cabinets, some not so much. But the marquee looks great. You say that's maybe no big deal, but it is a big deal if you have to have things so, and you're willing to spend extra money from a third party, from somebody else to get a better marquee. So the marquee is good. The cabinet shape, I think. Listen, for pluses and minuses, ups and downs. I know this is subjective, but I think that when we're talking about recreating that midway shape, this is definitely good. This is much, much better. So the overall shape would definitely be a reason to keep it. It's also different than anything that is out right now. There is nothing else from RK1 that looks like this. So even if you're not a huge fan of the shape, it is different, and that's going to stand out in your arcade, I think, in a good way. The artwork is definitely a plus. The artwork is, listen, it's good. We are all missing Daniel Pacino on the side. Johnny Cage should be there, but other than that, when you look at the way this is laid out and you look at the attention to detail, the quality of the graphics, they're there. This is a good looking cabinet. In my opinion, I think if you polled 100 people, probably 90% are going to say, yeah, I agree with that statement. So I think it's safe to assume that the artwork would be a positive, a plus, a reason why we should get this. If you're thinking maybe I'll just stick with my legacy cabinet, well, you're getting a real molded coin. I say real coin door. It's not a real coin door, but it is a molded coin door. It's not a sticker or a decal. That is a plus. Trust me. You're talking to someone who experienced both. Just to have a sticker on the front is fine, but when you get your molded coin doors, you put those on the front, it makes a difference. It is a difference maker. And I think it is a net positive. Here's another big one, kids. Wi-Fi. Whether you like leaderboards on this cabinet specifically, head-to-head play or co-op play, you're going to get both of those with this cabinet. So the Wi-Fi adds a lot. There's a ton of value when it comes to this cabinet as far as, well, let's not say value. Let's just say functionality. Let's just say features. This is a feature-rich Wi-Fi cabinet. Some are just leaderboards. Some are mainly geared towards the head-to-heads, fighting games. This, you're getting both. Well, I guess all three. You got to carry the one. Leaderboards, head-to-head, and co-op play. So there are a lot of positives here. So what is the verdict? In the make-believe scenario, no, not really. My scenario, my real scenario. What am I going to do? Faced with all this, faced with these different options, what am I going to do? I think, like Madonna said, I'm keeping my cabinet. I'm keeping my cabinet. Doesn't really work at all. I think for now, I'm going to keep it. For now, I'm going to keep it. And I'm going to look at replacing that monitor. Seriously. Not just for me, but I'm going to be so selfless that I'm going to record it. I'm going to make a video about it. I'm going to share everything with you. So we saw on B's video that just taking a 4x3 BOE, plugging it in is not going to be the solution you're after because it's going to cut off the bottom of the screen. But don't worry. I already have in my possession a 5x3 Dell monitor. It's been thrown out there, 17-inch. Everybody, is talking about using this one. I've got it. So we're going to pursue that option. We're going to look at the first generation. I still have first and second generation monitors. We're going to take a look at those as a possible option because that's something you could find laying around. You could pick up secondhand for very, very reasonable, very, very cheap. We're going to find out if that is a net improvement. Is it better? Then maybe you can go that route. We're going to explore all this together. We're going to come to a consensus. I'm going to decide, hey, this is what I want to do. And I'm going to share all that with you because I think that I am more confident that myself, the community, that we're going to get this right way before RK1UP fixes it. Legacy or lunacy? That's the next topic. And we're going to talk about Capcom now. Midway had its day, had its time to get bashed by me. And now we're going to bash Capcom just a little bit. I'm sorry. I'm just going to prepare you. Brace yourself. It's going to be a bashing, a bashery, a habashery. That's something I don't even know what that is. Haberdashery? I don't know. But maybe Movie Mark can help me with his $2 super chat. I will take your $2 and buy a dictionary to try to figure out what the hell's going on. Can you even buy dictionaries anymore? Like paper dictionaries? We'll find out later on. Maybe after the show, we'll talk about dictionaries. Those who missed on first Star Wars will pay what? Movie Mark, you know what? For the diehard Star Wars fans, especially the original trilogy fans, you're not far off. You're probably dead on. And whatever, I'm sure whatever does have a cap, but the cap is probably pretty high. It may even be higher than the top or the ceiling that I've established in my poll. So, man, thank you so much for the $2 super chat. I really do appreciate it. But unfortunately, the first one out of the gate, you've got to go to the pit.
Finish him. Melina wins. Flawless victory. Fatality.
So young, so sad. But it had to be done. I hope you understand. I think you understand. I'm pretty sure you understand. I'm scrolling up to find a comment from my good buddy. Here he is. Fatal J. Buddy, how you doing? Fox, killing it. I'm trying every single day. Hopefully I can get to the heights, the lofty heights that you've established, buddy. Love you, man. Thanks for stopping by, checking out the channel. T Slayer says, I think it has more positives than negatives. Honestly, I mean, I think you're twisting my arm here, but I think you're right. I think that's why I'm going to go ahead and keep it. I think the monitor is a big deal. It is a big deal, but there are more positives than negatives. Moving on to Legacy or Lunacy, I think it's appropriate because we're talking about, what is this really a Capcom Legacy? So if you're not familiar, this happened this week. I think it was Monday or Tuesday. We had our live stream here on this channel where Bill's Retro Gaming Show actually broke the news. He found this listing on RK1UP's website, not some other shady, nefarious source. It was actually RK1UP's website, and it was up for just a brief second, less than an hour, and then it was gone. But he was able to snap some screenshots and do a quick video. And it was great having him on. He's we're probably a kindred spirit, a like mind, and it was good having him on. But this is what we're talking about here. We're talking about this is the Yoga Flame edition, or the version of the new Capcom Legacy cabinet coming out. You're going to notice a few things right off the bat. You're going to notice some funky artwork on the side. Funky, it's different. That's weird. That's not arcade accurate. But let's check out the control panel. Very, very similar to what we've seen before with the likes of Big Blue, and even, this is probably more Big Blue than it is the current Legacy, but all the same sort of design. Capcom 6-button. It's fairly simplistic. I will say that it looks like, and just kind of going back and double checking this rendering. I think it's a rendering. It may not be an actual photo. It could just be a rendering. It looks like the analogs, or not but the joysticks are a little bit high. That's probably done to give your palms a place to rest. But they usually are dead center of your action buttons. Your 6 buttons off to the right. It seems a little high. It's a little thing, I'm sure. But when as far as muscle memory goes, pulling off super moves, that's gonna be something maybe that could throw you off just a little bit. We know the controls aren't arcade perfect replicas, so you've got that kind of hurdle to overcome, and then the placement is going to be something that it's got to be right. The placement has got to be there. But as you notice a few things, you're also going to say, hey, wow, Fox, that shape looks really familiar. Well, you would be you're not wrong there. The shape does look familiar because that's a Midway shape. And we have some custom side art. So I go back to my original question: is this a Capcom Legacy cabinet? We talked about the games list last, in the live stream this week, and it's a great games list. That's not the issue. But okay. To further my point, check this out. I mean, look at this. If you take away the games list, this looks exactly like a reskin of a Capcom, of a Midway cabinet. It looks like just another one of their games, right? It's just a weird. This is such an odd decision, and I know that RK1UP must have some sort of system in place. It's like, okay, well, if we give this, we got to take this away, right? We're trying to maintain this price point, so there's a give and take, a back and forth. So when it comes to, okay, so they knew they had to get the art, the actual shape of the cabinet right when it came to your Midway Legacy. That was a big thing. They had to get that right. So we're going to move away from the old legacies where Midway and Capcom shared the exact same body style. We're going to move away from that, and we're going to give Midway its own unique style. And that's great. And that made a ton of sense. Obviously, look, it pays off. We have Joust on the side. It's the same exact cabinet, just a different reskin for the same cabinet, right? Games that's part of the games list. But when we see, but now we see that, well, they're actually falling back on that same philosophy of just having them share the same body style, the same cabinet shape, and it really doesn't make any sense at all when you're talking about a product that's Capcom and is completely different, completely separate from Midway in every way. And a lot of people think that the Mortal Kombat games and the Street Fighter games are directly opposed to each other, just because of the nature of sort of the focus on, they both focus on fighting, but there is more of a style, a big stylistic change difference from the Capcom and the Mortal Kombat. Mortal Kombat is obviously the over top, the kills, the fatalities, and all that, the brutality of it all, the super animated blood and gore and all that. You just don't have that when it comes to the Capcom. It's more about the style and the artwork and the individual moves and the individual martial arts practiced by each figure. Drink. So it's just really, really odd. It's a weird choice to me because we just moved away from, hey, all the legacies are gonna have the same cabinet style. Okay, no, now we're gonna really step out and we're gonna in some ways hit a home run when it comes to Midway. But Capcom, we're just gonna copy and paste. It is so weird to me. This is so odd, to have this. Okay, this is once again kind of a regression. So we have the exact same style cabinet, and that could maybe be forgiven if it wasn't for the artwork on the side. Now, a lot of people enjoyed this artwork. They like the artwork. They think, listen, the artwork looks dope, man. That looks good. And it's definitely, I'm going to say that it's not bad. I don't hate it. But as far as arcade, representations, it's not accurate at all, especially when you compare it to, look to the right. Well, the left and the right, both of these cabinets are definitely they harken back to the good old days, the original cabinets that inspired these. If you look at the cabinet in the middle, with the exception of the marquee, with the exception of the bezel around the monitor, I'll go ahead and give them the control panel. As far as artwork goes, that's really it. The 35th anniversary obviously draws attention to the fact that this is a 35th anniversary. This is a special cabinet. And it sort of dates the cabinet as a 2022 model, right? Just based on, you do the math. The year Street Fighter 1 came out to now. But you got this weird, very, very, it's a huge departure from the cabinet or from the original arcade cabinet. And a lot of people like it. They think it looks good. At first I didn't mind it. And I think overall it's okay. But it kind of reminds me of those cheap fight sticks that you get on like Amazon or eBay, like the one made by Mad Cats or the Pandora's Box, where it's just the characters from the game, because there's no branding on the side, and that's fine because we got the branding on the front. But if we're just talking about the side art, I just think that this is it's weird. It's weird that they're going to go this way. Usually, if it's a big stylistic choice like the Steve Aoki countercades, you're going to have that carry on all the way around the cabinet. Wild, crazy departure. You're not going to have an arcade accurate marquee. You're not going to have, the styling is going to be all over this place on the control panel everywhere. When you're talking about some of those special edition cabinets that they have with like a Supreme, and with the Chinatown Market, it was a very, very different, art style, art graphics package for the entire cabinet, not just the side art. So this is just weird to me. And that's kind of what I think about it. It's like, okay, this is like a knockoff, a Pandora's Box. It doesn't make a lot of sense to me. It's weird. So is this really a Capcom legacy, or is it just another reskin of Midway? I just don't get it. I talk about the system. I just mentioned the system that they must have, right? The trade-offs, the gives and the takes. Okay, we'll give them this, but we'll take that, and back and forth to try to maintain this price point. I don't understand the give and take when it comes to this. We got, obviously, a good games list. But beyond that, what did we really what do we really get? Why the take? Why the regression? Why the use of the Midway cabinet for the Capcom cabinet? What's the trade-off there? I don't get it. Other than the expense of maybe developing a new cabinet? Well, but even then I don't get that because we're talking about Midway gets a new cabinet style. Namco gets a new cabinet style. Atari gets a new cabinet style. You just couldn't cross the finish line. You just couldn't take that next step to give Capcom something unique. I mean, you know, I don't know, even carry on with Big Blue, but you could take Big Blue and you could change that. Big Blue cabinet was not just the one that we got, not just the one that we're used to. There was another variation of the Big Blue cabinet, and it really was just the top of the marquee was different. You had, they weren't 6x9 speakers, but they were like rectangular speakers. They had a mid and then they had a tweeter. And so you had these rectangular speakers up top, and then that big flat marquee was sort of squished down and separated from the top. So you actually had the cabinet and then two posts that came up. The cabinet had the speakers, two posts came up, and then there was the marquee sort of suspended above that. Why not just take Big Blue, get rid of the artwork on the front, put a coin door, but leave the whole damn thing blue, and just change the top, the marquee top, and there you go. You've got most of the work already done for you. Most of the engineering was already done. Why not just do that? And it's a second version of Big Blue with a new games list, if cost was a concern. You know, and some people would say, well, that's negligible. They're still going to have to redesign a big portion of the cab. Well, that's true. But like I said, most of the work is already done for you. All the math. I mean, some of those CAD drawings, those CNC routers are already ready to go to cut out those parts. So there wouldn't be that much of a challenge there. So it's just weird that while we got some great games that are, you know, not currently available on all the other Capcom arcade one-ups, it's not enough to. I don't know why what was the trade-off? What did we get that was so amazing that we are stuck with the Midway style cabinet? Now, if this was Alien versus Predator, we may be having a different discussion. The fanboy in me would probably, you know, jump up and down and say it's okay, it's worth it. But no, I think that at the end of the day, I know Capcom, Midway, everybody, they had their generic cabinets, right? And they would just reskin everything. And it was just the same sort of cabinet style. And they would reskin it and they would put whatever they wanted to on the sides. I know that. I get that. I've been there. We've been to those arcades. It's nothing new. And I don't care what arcade you went to. We saw that. We understand that, especially as the arcades got longer in the tooth, it made more sense to just reskin different cabinets. You know, Neo Geo beat everybody to the punch when it came to that. That was their, they had some great games, but if there was ever a crowning achievement, something they could plant their flag on, Neo Geo was the one that said, hey, you know what? How about we make the same cabinet? I mean, exactly the same cabinet, and we just put the board in there, the motherboard, the A board, and then you just have slots to put different games in. How about that? They were thinking ahead. So the only thing you change is the little marquee, and that's it. And I think Capcom, Namco, Midway, everybody eventually caught up to that. Hey, that's a really freaking good idea. How about we do that? How about the same cabinet style, but we just reskin it? So I would forgive reusing another arcade one-up Capcom body style. I mean, just go ahead and reuse Big Blue. It wouldn't have bothered me, even if you didn't change the shape of the cabinet. New marquee, obviously, it's already live. It's already got Wi-Fi. So, I mean, I would definitely 100%, if they were going to reuse Big Blue, get rid of the blue artwork on the front and just do a coin door. They should definitely have done that. And that would have been good enough for me. I would have been fine with that. Different marquee, title up there. Just swap that out, coin door, and we're good. We're good. Big Blue 2. I mean, come on, the thing is going to sell itself. Big Blue 2. You can even put a 2 in there somewhere. I don't know. That could be in the listing, but it's just very, very odd to me. So I don't understand why. This happened. Now, listen, we do know that this is not official. Nothing is official until it's official. And even then, it still may not be official. We've seen them announce things and unannounced things. So anything's possible. So hopefully, knock on wood, this render is just not accurate. I think I brought this up in the live stream. It's possible that maybe this is not an accurate render. Maybe the artwork is something they were probably going to go with. Maybe they're settled on that side artwork, but the shape of the cabinet wasn't finalized yet. So they just grabbed a model, a 3D model, a render that they already had, and threw Capcom stuff on it, and there you go. Why don't we do that? Maybe that's what they did, and that's why the listing was pulled down. Maybe that's why the listing was actually pulled down. So it's possible that this is just an overreaction. But this is what we do on this channel and other channels: is we react, we speculate on what we see and what we know so far. Hopefully that will change. So but I got to tell you, the artwork is not arcade accurate, so that's going to be polarizing. Some people are going to like it. Some people are not going to like it. When you step outside of the arcade recreation and you make a choice, a stylistic choice. It's going to be polarizing. People are going to be on either sides of the argument. It doesn't really matter what I think or you think. There's going to be people on both sides of that. So already you've divided some people just on your side panels. The shape of the cabinet is going to be a problem. Once again, to just reuse what you already had would have been one thing. To use what is obviously the new Midway Legacy body, the cabinet, that's another huge thing. That is another huge thing. And then, of course, it can't be understated at this point. We've got those two hurdles. Now we're going to have the monitor as the third big hurdle to buy this cabinet. So now we have three big things you as the potential buyer, the customer, have to overcome when you see this. Okay, am I okay with this unique artwork on the side? Okay, I can live with it. Okay, are you okay with the Midway style? Like, well, that's fine. I don't care. Okay, fine. Are you okay with that monitor? That may be the point that actually get a bunch of people. Now, here is the real, when you whittle all this down, this is how the Capcom argument is different than the Midway argument. They're sharing some of the same issues, especially when it comes to that monitor. But here's the thing. I really stepped out on faith and pre-ordered this Mortal Kombat 30th. And I bought it because, listen, there was no other Mortal Kombat out there. I mean, I'm sorry. I'll back up. Before I pre-ordered this one, I bought the last Legacy because there was nothing else. There was those second gens, and they were limited games. They had bad monitors. I bought the last Legacy because there was nothing else, right? That was all they had. That was all they had. And then this new MK30th coming out, I bought that because, once again, it's going to be the only offering that's going to have a Mortal Kombat at all, right? It's going to be the only thing. But currently, right now, I can go, and there are two other offerings. There are two other Capcom cabinets that I can buy right now that have Wi-Fi. I'm sorry, that have the games list that I want. One of them currently has Wi-Fi in Big Blue. So while you didn't have a Wi-Fi option for Mortal Kombat, you do now. If you wanted Wi-Fi, you have to go with the MK30th. There's no reason for Capcom lovers, Capcom fighting fanboys, to jump and rush to this cabinet, because right now they already have everything that the new one is going to offer. And some people may say, because of the better monitor, it has more. Moving on to the last topic, but before we get there, I've got some people in the chat that have something to say. They have some chats that they wish to communicate to me, and some of those chats, well, they're super. Here's a $5 super chat from Kings of Cobra. Says, missed out on Star Wars, but I won't be buying nothing if that monitor ain't right. You're preaching to the choir, brother. You're singing my song. They've got to stop looking for us to fix their issues. Thank you so much for the $5 super chat. Kings of Cobra, man, I thank you so much. You're always in the chat, always supporting. But unfortunately, Wolverine's got something to say to you.
Let's go. Wolverine win. Rookie.
The rookie. I'm assuming you're. I mean, maybe you're not a rookie. I have no idea. But yeah, listen. The monitors. The situation has got to be repaired. There's some things that people can deal with. Some people can live with this or that. But I think the monitor is going to be a big issue. It's going to be a big deal. It's going to be a big problem. Hobby Hands, status of our Alien versus Predator cab. I I have no idea. I don't know. I have turned over every rock. I have shook every tree, and nothing is giving me any hint as far as where we're at on the Alien versus Predator cab. My personal Alien versus Predator cab. I'm going to tell you everybody right now. I did something today, and I'm just going to listen. This is just between me and you, and the 159 people watching right now, and hopefully the 1,000 or two that will rewatch this. I had the button swapped on my Alien versus Predator cabinet. First player, well, the player 1, player 2, and the coin buttons, I had those swapped. This whole time, I was frustrated trying to figure out, well, what the hell? I had, yeah. So today, one of the things I did on Sunday today was I took that out and swapped those wires around. It's embarrassing, but I feel confident enough that you are not going to tell anybody. This is circle of trust right here, okay? All right, don't tell anybody. But yeah, that was actually something I had to do today. Kind of embarrassing, but hey, it is what it is. Thank you so much for the $2 super chat. And speaking of AVP, here you go. And we have sacrilege in the chat. My heart is hurting right now because Vasil says for $2, he wants to proclaim nobody wants Alien versus Predator with an exclamation point. You didn't have to do that. It was bad enough what you said, but then you just had to hit it with an exclamation point, and you know what I mean. It's a horrible thing to say. It's just out of line. But thank you so much for $2 super chat. I really do appreciate it. Insulting me, but paying to insult what I love, it's fine. It's fine. You know what? I don't care. It's fine. I understand. Everybody's got their jam. Everybody's got the thing that they love, the thing that they like, and everybody, to each his own. To each his own. We got a $2 super chat from P-Dub. Status of our Alien versus Predator cab. I don't know. If you're asking how many days, it has been 1,249 days since the first announcement of RK1UP's first CPS2 cabinet, and still no Alien versus Predator. It's ridiculous. It's a travesty. Hearts are hurting everywhere. It's not just me. It's other people. I'm sure. I mean, there could be. I mean, it's possible. There might be. Anyway, tell you what. Let's ask where are you. He obviously wants Alien versus Predator. Look at him. It's he was all fired up about it. This is yes. We opine here. We have theories. We have thoughts. We have queries. Yeah. So that's I think that's if they want a home run, if they want the best thing, listen, if they just want to make $1 billion, Alien versus Predator is. It's not 2 tickets to paradise. It's 4 tickets to paradise. I mean, Eddie Money would just be taken aback. He'd have to rewrite his song. And, another guy that I really want to hear from is Twisted Gaming TV. What's up, Twisted Chris? How the hell are you for $10? I'm sorry, $9.99. He says, in case you ever need a taxi, here's $9.99. Happy Sunday indeed to you. Thank you so much, brother, for stopping by. And a $10 super chat, man. I really do appreciate it. And you know what I got to hit you with? Here you go. Also, a little bit of spoiler. There's another cabinet coming. Headed over to the Fox Den. Headed over to the arcade. Killer Instinct. Killer Instinct will be here soon. I'll do a review. But I think everybody knows what that cabinet is all about. But I finally found a way. Love finds a way. And you know what else finds a way into your heart? A $5 super chat from P-Dubs Arcade Law for $5. 19K bucks, and P-Dubs will be live streaming a full playthrough of AVP this week, as long as I get to play as Predator Warrior. Fox will as the human girl. The human girl. The human girl? The human girl? That's Lieutenant Lynn. What's wrong with you? She's awesome. I would gladly play as her. Thank you so much for $5 super chat. And hell yes, brother. Tell you what, we'll talk after the stream, but we can totally make that happen. And if you needed anybody else's opinion on this, ask I don't know, Chun-Li. Thanks so much for the $5 super chat, buddy. I do appreciate it. And yes, it is available on Fightcade. And yes, me and P-Dubs will absolutely play and enjoy the hell out of it because it's the best game ever. Another $5 super chat, $4.99. I apologize, $4.99 from BCB147. AVP is going to be released this year. Yes, finally on the Midway Capcom shape. Twist evil mustache. Well played, sir. Well played.
Finish him. Scrap wins. Flawless victory. Fatality.
Thank you so much for the super chat. And you know what? Good advice. Good advice is worth its weight in gold. So when you see it, you should definitely take advantage of it. And definitely, my good buddy Snow Dubs has the right idea. Smash that like button, peeps. And by the way, share the stream. I do appreciate it. So let's talk about something a little more fun. Let's talk about something a little more fun. Let's talk about something. We're not going to bash monitors anymore. Well, I'm sure it'll work its way into the conversation. But we're going to talk about something a little more fun. This is exciting. Okay, so I painted a scenario for you before. Let's paint a different picture. We're going to Bob Ross this bad boy. Okay, so we're talking about happy trees. Imagine you have the Atari license. And much like a steak pairs well with a fine wine, a red wine, fish pairs well with a white, bourbon pairs well with ice. You also have the Star Wars license. Oh, this sounds good. Now I know the Sega license. That's also there. Atari. Arcade One Up has that also. I get that. I know. We're not talking about Star Wars trilogy right now. We're talking about Atari and Star Wars. Look at this beautiful thing right here. Look at this beautiful thing. One of the great Grand Slams of all time. Well, at least in home arcade, 3/4 scale history. Anyway, that's beside the point. Definitely one of the greatest achievements for sure. Awesome, awesome cabinet. The only miss, if you can even call it a miss, is that they didn't make enough of them. They didn't make enough of them. They were bought up immediately, gone in a flash, and sadly, not everybody had a chance to partake of this wonderful, wonderful creation. If you needed a reminder, here it is. Here's the cabinet right now, glowing perfection in the center. You can see the yoke off to the left. That we even had. Listen, we had Glenn over on B's channel talking about. I'm sorry, Super Game Room Dudes, and we were talking about this specifically after the show, and he even admitted, listen, while his yoke is better, and I don't think there's any debate whatsoever, he admits that this plastic yoke is actually pretty good. So you have good controls, especially for, when you think about where Arcade One Up was at this point in time. So you have the unique control scheme that they nailed, obviously the appropriate Atari branding. The cabinet looks great. Check out the artwork. And of course, something else they did that was a little bit different before they started stacking panels like on T2 and Killer Instinct and Big Blue. They just simply said, hey, why don't we make a taller riser? And so they did that. They made a taller riser with this one. It's the first arcade cabinet. I believe this predates Big Buck Hunter. The first riser of this height. It really kind of brought that back up, got the height up to the right size, really, really knocked it out of the park. This is great. And to be honest with you, I didn't buy this new. I was not able to get this brand new either. I mean, it was just like, it's one of those things, your life is passing you by and you're trying to get all this stuff and get kind of caught up. And it was something I really, really wanted, but I just couldn't at the time. I couldn't really get it. And then when I was able to, it was gone. So I was able to get the second hand from a great first owner that cherished this thing. There's not a nick, there's not a scratch, there's not a smudge on it. But even secondhand without the box, I had to pay $500, and I was glad to pay it because that's what this thing really was. It was $499, brand new. I think the sit-down version was actually $50 less. But as been well documented by many people besides me, when you get a sit down arcade one up as a full grown man, you look like a doofus. A doofus. And nobody wants to look like a doofus. Luke Skywalker wasn't a doofus. He wouldn't have allowed himself to look like that. So I would definitely suggest if they're out there, get the stand-up version, or at least maybe, I don't know, get the stand-up version. Don't even waste your time with the sit-down. The stand-up version is definitely the way to go. But before I continue on, someone else has something to say. And they're paying $5 to say it. King of Cobra says, I've said it before. I'll say it again. If Arcade One Up wants to make a fortune, give us Donkey Kong. It's a long shot, but a man cave dream. Absolutely. And if Nintendo could just cave ever so slightly, if those over at Arcade One Up could work their magic and make that blessed union happen, I think that that's just one of the many titles that people would probably pay a little bit more for. And if you're talking about building out that classic arcade and you want to fill it with some bangers, that is a great place to start. Absolutely. Donkey Kong, for sure. Thank you so much for the $5 super chat. I really do appreciate it. And you know what? I'm going to give you a little bit of Dragon Ball Z love. Here you go.
Can't you do any better?
Another $2 super chat from Hobby Hand says, I pre-purchased GRS Yoke last year, waiting for cab. Smart man. Smart man. I think that's probably maybe the only way you could really, truly upgrade that cabinet, in a really substantial way, is to get Glenn's Yoke. Second runner-up could be actually the marquee that from Joe Sabo it caps over it. It sort of slides over it. That could be something pretty cool. I believe P-Dubs bought that one, waiting for that review video to come out. Come on, P-Dubs. Show us the video. Show us the pictures we want to see. Thank you so much for the $2 super chat. I really do appreciate it. Am I running out of videos to show? Oh, hell no. But you might want to get a sweater or maybe a cardigan.
Finish him. Sub-Zero wins. Flawless victory. Fatality.
I gotta highlight this comment. Basil says, I'm not ever getting a sit down. My wife will divorce me. Well, listen, we don't advocate for that. We don't want these arcades should be bringing us together, not tearing us apart. And we don't want to see that. So that's make a good point though. Okay, so it came out. It was awesome. I was able to get one secondhand. Luckily, knock on wood, it was in great shape. But I think I've heard through the grapevine. Others may have heard this also. It's going to come out again. Star Wars is going to make a return in some form or fashion. I believe the Atari license that Arcade One Up has secured is still secured. I believe that the Star Wars license, for the most part, is still secure. I think that's probably, especially with Disney and Star Wars, that is probably the most finely worded licensing agreement ever. It is probably so incredibly specific that Arcade One Up is only going to be able to make just a select few products. So they've already got the pinball under their belt. They obviously knocked it out of the park with this. They've had a lot of irons in their fire, but now it's time to return to cabinets. I think what we've seen before recently has just been overstock. It's just been cabinets that they were able to kind of get on the shelf. They didn't, fire up a production line for, Final Fight. They didn't. It was just overstock. It was stuff they had. It was in the back. It was somebody put their code on it and they were like, hey, we got the cabinet, bring it out. Same thing with those, that one of 8,000 Marvel Superheroes cabinets. I think that was just, finishing out that 8,000 limited run, and those are gone. And I think that's it. But if it's time to revisit a cabinet, to really truly revisit a cabinet, now that they've got some of these other legacies out of the way, I think it's Star Wars. And I think there's a couple ways they can do that. So let's go over these. I'm gonna give you some options, and I want you to tell me in the live chat, and also if you're rewatching this video, let me know in the comments section which one of these options is what you would absolutely go for in a heartbeat. But it's not going to be as obvious as you think. So let's talk about option one. So option one is a strict re-release. Same cabinet. Here it is. We re-release it. But at $449, that original $500 price point is not going to work in this market. not what they've established, right? They're establishing now new, brand new legacies with, we all know about the monitor situation, but there's just too many adders to justify this cabinet as it is re-releasing at $499 because it's going to compete with Wi-Fi and all the other games and all that. So you option one, re-release the exact same cabinet, just the cabinet, no bundles, nothing, for $449. Option one. Option one, you re-release it just like it is for $50 less than it was originally. That's option one. I think some people are going to be really excited about that. I think some people will be very happy about it. But there's some people, probably more than most, that are going to want just a little bit more. But let's take a break and address this $5 super chat from Vasil that says, give me a Star Wars Legacy cap with the original trilogy and pod racer. Easy, Tiger. Easy. We're just trying to get those original 3 back. But I love your enthusiasm. And you make a lot of good points. I think that's a cabinet that everybody would jump all over. I think I only have, oh, you know what? I do have another one. And this one is for you. Okay, so that's option one. Option two. That's right. There's more than one option here. Option two is this. It's not a re-release. It's a redo. Okay, just like in the title of the video, we got re-releases and we got a redo. This is a redo. This is a refresh, whatever you want to call it. Here's what it is. It's priced at about $599 based on what they're doing now with their bigger cabinets. With everything else they go, I don't think you're going to be at $699 range quite just yet. I think it's for what you're going to get. $599 is probably what the price point we could really expect for this. So for $599, you're going to get Wi-Fi. You're going to get new artwork, probably the Empire Strikes Back, or I'm sorry, Return of the Jedi, maybe. No, they'll probably go with Empire Strikes Back artwork. Empire Strikes Back, let's say, redone, reskinned, different artwork. You'd probably get a lit deck protector, and because they'd have to pan out the number of games, you're going to have those console ports. So you're going to have console ports. You're going to have like the Atari 2600 versions of these games. And, I'm not going to care about those. Most of us probably aren't going to care, but they're going to have to add games to this. So $599, you're going to get that stuff. Wi-Fi would just be leaderboards. No, these games aren't really going to be able to support head-to-head, but you're going to have leaderboards. So you got Wi-Fi leaderboards. You got new artwork. You have a lit deck protector. That actually might be kind of cool because you could make some of those. You could really make the deck on that pop. Anyway, and then, of course, they throw some other games on there. It's going to have to be compatible with the yoke. So you can't just throw anything on there. You can't have like Super Star Wars from the NES on there because that was a side scroller. So you can't really do that. But maybe they could cherry pick different console ports from whatever generation that they want, and they could throw them on here. Okay, so that was your option two. $599. I think that's where they would put it. So there you go. Those are two options. Which one do you think is more likely? Which one are you leaning towards? Honestly, which one would you go for? A straight up strict re-release, nothing new, absolutely nothing new at all. It's just the same cabinet, a little bit cheaper than it was original. But there you go. You just get the 3 games, right? That's it. No Wi-Fi. Or load this thing up, pack it out the way they're doing with current stuff now. Of course, the only bubble, right, is going to be that monitor. So let's say they found a stack of BOEs or something. They were able to get BOEs in here. So option one, option two, which one it is. We'll say that the monitors are the same, good monitors. I don't want to throw that in the mix because that's going to mess everybody up. So redo, re-release. Which one do you want? Option one is re-release. Option two is redo. So which one would I vote? Which one would I vote? Well, because it's my stream, because it's my show, I'm going to go with option three. Option three is $500, the exact same cabinet with Wi-Fi leaderboards. I think if they want to charge the same exact price as they did back in the day, they got to add Wi-Fi to the cabinet. But I don't want anything else. So I'll forgive you if you've already voted. You can vote again. There's a third option now. $50 more, you get Wi-Fi. So do you care about Wi-Fi? Then go with option one. Get your beautiful re-release and you're good. If you want something different, if you want it to look different, if you want a lot more options, a lot more stuff, features, headphone jack, go with option two. If you want just one more thing, If you want my option, what I'm going to go with, it's option 3. A re-release, but with Wi-Fi. $50 more. There you go. And then Mystery Encoder always jumping in to change it up just a little bit. Where did it go? Oh, I'm sorry. No, I'm sorry. Nooner says option 1 or option 4 as an XL size. So option 4 would be, I guess, option 1, XL version of 1. It's crazy. It's great. Here we go. So we have, okay, so now we have a 4th option. Great. That's not one of the official 19K Fox options, okay? You can't come in and you can't say, what about all of them? What about everything? What if they all were on the same? No, it's not. I have strict, this is a very strict, I'm very disciplined channel I have here with all of my, rantings and whatnot. So anyway, that's what I think. Which way do I think they're going to go, though? Seriously, when it comes to them coming out with another Star Wars Atari, probably option 2. Unfortunately, I don't think we're going to get to see that beautiful original artwork back again. I think we're going to get an option 2, some kind of, melding of all that stuff. Probably new artwork. Hopefully the same cab shape. I think they'll probably stick with that because there's a lot of cost there, but probably different artwork, a bunch of stuff added that, may hinder the experience. I hope not, but that's probably what we're going to get. But in my opinion, option 3 is the way to go. Would you look at that?
What the hell?
Yo, the sign is real simple, B. It says wrap it up.
It is time to wrap it up, and we're going to start the wrap-up process by reading the poll. So here we go. Check it out. 144 votes. Good job, everybody. Thanks for jumping in and answering the vague question at the beginning, but hopefully it makes a little more sense now. The question was, what is the most you would pay for an arcade 1-up Star Wars re-release? 144 people voted, either $4.99, $5.99, or $6.99. 49%. Well, let's start with the lowest percentage. 22% say, hey, I'd pay $6.99. This guy would pay $700 for a re-release. Slightly more, 29% is at $5.99. $5.99. Hey, I'd pay that, no problem. But the majority of you, 49 and 146 votes. All right, I had a couple more sneak in. Good job. 49%. I'm going to go in the poll now. 49% say I would pay $500 without batting an eye. So it looks like that's going to be the way to go. It's going to be $500. Now, if they go with my tried and true option, I think that's a no-brainer, and they would make a ton of money on that. But what we're probably going to get, unfortunately, is this, fortunately, unfortunately, I guess it depends on how you look at it. It depends on what the product is when it comes out. There could be a lot of value added there, but there's always going to be a soft spot, a sweet spot in my heart and in many people's hearts for that first Star Wars cabinet. It was just, little did we know, while it was expensive for the time, it was the perfect mix. It was a perfect combination of what we wanted and what was really important. Wi-Fi may be the only thing, in my opinion, that would really elevate that original cabinet. That's why I added it as the option 3. But, that's just my 2 cents. Anyway, if you're watching this on the replay, let me know what you think about this. And before I go, I got another $5 super chat from Hobby Hands. Been very generous tonight. Thank you so much. I really do appreciate it. And the new Star Wars, oh God, would have the 1978 holiday special video as an extra bonus. Terminator 2 is not going to be overdone or outdone or underdone or medium well. I don't know. That you decide for yourself. Oh, the holiday special. We're talking about adding value here, Hobby Hands. Adding value. Not taking it, I don't know. Wolverine's got something to say.
Perfect! Hyper combo KO!
Game's over. Time to call it quits.
Yeah, I think that might be the way. I'm going to agree with Logan on that one. Yeah, the Star Wars specials, the holiday special would bring that cabinet down a lot, I think. It's my personal opinion. But anyway, thank you so much for hanging out with me, guys. So as far as the channel goes, looking forward to next week. I got my cabinet coming. My MK30th is coming out. Should be here Tuesday. So Tuesday night, I'm going to get my hands on it. Not going to do a live stream unboxing. I'm going to go ahead and unbox this thing and put it together and shoot a video similar to my usual style. You're going to get a lot of the internals, the guts, the nuts and bolts. lots of Loctite and wood glue will be used in the assembly of this cabinet because it will stay together forever. Forever. And I'm going to give you hopefully some decent thoughts, opinions will be plenty. And I hope the monitor isn't as bad as it looks, but I think it probably is going to be. But don't worry, stay tuned to this channel and others in this community. We're not going to be dissuaded by that. We're not going to be discouraged. We're not going to say that's good enough. We're going to come up with something just a little bit better for, selfishly, right? And then also, hopefully, we can help you out. So anyway, thank you so much, everybody, for the time, for hanging out with the channel. Y'all have a blessed day. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, which is almost gone. Don't work too hard next week, and I will see you next time.